Dr. Mark Changizi here with your Science Moment. Today I'm going to talk about President Biden and a sense in which the situation that we're in with Biden as someone who has clearly has had dementia for nearly 4 years at least, noticeably, is a violation of free expression of the highest kind. And let me explain what I mean by that. Now, let's suppose that someone hacked my Twitter account, right? Someone hacked it, and let's suppose everybody knew that Changizi's account was hacked. Now, there's going to be some period of time, let's suppose it's 6 months before, let's say, Twitter gets around to, rescuing my account from these hackers. So what happens when my account is hacked is that, and for a temporary period of time, is that great misbehavior can occur. Now, if they had access to my account and potentially could keep it forever, well, they would become they could use it pseudonymously. They could just say, I'm going to call it Changizi's hacked account, and maybe over time they develop their own reputation, and they can build followers, and it's got its own shtick that's different from mine, or maybe it's a satire about making fun of me, or who knows what. But it can be a pseudonym, and they can, again, be a real identity, something we've talked about before, over time that accumulates reputation and so forth. So, and they're at risk of losing reputation too. So they want to tweet responsibly because they can grow and actually use that account. But if it's only for 6 months that they've hacked my account, well, they're not interested in or able to sort of grow organically over time. They can't gain by having a good reputation, and they have no risk of really losing reputation. They are anonymous, not pseudonymous, right? So this radically changes the nature of how they're going to behave during that 6 months. They're going to misbehave. They're going to do all kinds of stuff that are, they're just going to have fun with it. They're not going to have any accountability. And so this is a kind of illness to the free expression network, an illness in the public square. Now, it's not a big illness because it's just Changizi's account, and there's 200 million other accounts. It's not that big of a deal. But now imagine that it's the President of the United States account that's been hijacked, that's been hacked into for 6 months. And you don't know who's running the account. It's one person or it's a cabal of folks that are running it, and you have no idea. So this is no longer a joke, as if mine was. The misbehavior is not just any old person in the public square, but is in fact the top individual in the United States of America. And in fact, let's suppose that it's not just President Biden's account that's been hacked, but much more severely, President Biden himself that has been hacked. Right? In this case, it's the president himself that's been hacked. It's not just his tweets that are going on, or his Facebook posts, or all the kinds of things that someone's hacked into all that. No, it's he himself who has been hacked. He hasn't been there making these sorts of decisions, probably for the last 2 years, if not all the last 3.5 years. He hasn't been making any of these decisions. So he's in a situation where he's a figurehead. He's just there, but in fact, some cabal or individual is in fact making the decisions and not him. And it's only for a limited period of time. It's the exact same dynamic. So you have the same kind of maximal lack of accountability. There's no motivation for these folks to gain and grow the reputation because they're not going to get any reputation by virtue of it. It's going to go to Biden, who's effectively dead as far as for all practical purposes, right? Biden is in no situation. You can say, well, is this the same as a lame duck? No, lame duck presidents are going to be alive for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, depending on the president. And they want their reputation to be high because they want to go out of this world with a great reputation for having done great things, right? That's what they want. That's not what's going on here. The folks that are in charge of Biden, not Biden's account, of Biden himself are doing it anonymously. It's not going to go build the resume, the fact that they did this. And so if they do bad things or silly things or irresponsible things, it also doesn't harm their reputation. It doesn't. The answer to this is that the baton ought to be passed right away to Kamala Harris. This is where it should go, so that any decisions that are made, because she's interested in building her career and having a long career where she grows in reputation. And that's the way it has to work. Because otherwise, it's an anonymous cabal or individual, and there are no incentives, none of the incentives that make the public square run, that make free expression work, are running at exactly the highest point in the public square. And that was your science moment. If you're interested in the foundations of free expression itself, get a copy of Dr. Tim Barber and my book, Expressly Human.